is a fun painting. If you are a painter, beginner, expert, doesn't matter, and you want to jump in and paint along, you are certainly welcome to do so. Let me move this out of the way. There's the canvas we'll actually be painting tonight. Let me just adjust a little bit here. There we go. Hopefully everybody can see that pretty well. Hi Claudia, welcome. Good to have you here. Let's see if I can straighten this up a little bit too. That's a little better. All right, you guys ready to paint?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, let me find my weapon of choice for this canvas. There it is, my grody old hardware store brush. Let's get that dried off. All right, this is a it is a night scene, so it's a little bit dark, but that just makes what is light pop all that much better. And Claudia, you seem to like the Dogwood Beach. This is from a little bit north of there. This is Hunting Island, South Carolina, the low country. So what I'm going to do, I don't use black in my paintings very much, only to tint other colors. I'm going to mix umber and phthalo blue to get a darkest dark, and we're just going to start putting some color on the canvas just to get us a tone on there. And I'm going to lay it on a little bit thin because I want it to dry fast so we can work all the way through this thing. Now my moon is going to be right about there, so I'm going to avoid that area. Let's reload. Purple and brown, or excuse me, phthalo blue and brown. And you don't really have to be careful with this part. We are going to put some nighttime floating wispy clouds in here. And we'll slow down a little bit when we get to those, but for the most part you can just kind of crank this out, letting the brush empty itself as I work around the moon. Same color. And we're using a rule of thirds on this, so the bottom 1/3 of our painting, right down here, is going to be our horizon line. And I'm going to get a little bit of white and work it in, just to lighten that a little bit down toward the horizon. Already that's making some clouds for us. Doesn't take a lot. And then with a dirty brush, I'm not going to clean this at all, but I am going to go right into white on the side of my brush, and I'm going to start lightening next to the moon. And as soon as you see that color start to darken on you, go right back into your white, reload, do it again. You can't really mess this up. If you go too light, you just go back to your dark. It's acrylic, not oil, so we can change temperature and contrast very quickly. Oh, bright full moonlight down on the low country islands. Beautiful. It's beautiful here, but it's really beautiful there. All right, and then just use a brush of white, not a clean, back into the pure white. Pure white. And just work that in. And again, if you go too light, don't worry about it. You can make it dark again. So let's just play with this and see what we get. And we don't need our sky to be pitch dark because we have some limbs and some Spanish moss that'll hang in front of it. So we're just going to kind of play with this. Let a little bit of it go over the moon, as those wispy clouds are prone to do. Prone and known to do. Alright. And just a little more white on the brush. I'm just going to come in and just hint that there's some clouds living up here. Don't have to be precise with them. This is a nice, loose, impressionist painting. I'm going to let that dry a little bit more before I mess around too much up in there. I'm going to kind of break up this edge. Don't really want a hard edge right there. Soft now, soft, light touch. Just lightly kissing the surface of the canvas. Straighten that line out. There we go. That's almost looking like something already. Everybody still with me? Gonna take pure white.
Hey, Robin. Robin says, hey, hey.
Hey, Robin. Love, love. Hey, Robin, where y'all going to eat tonight? I'm gonna lay down some white right here on the horizon. And then I'm gonna intensify it right under the moon. We'll probably have to lay down several little passes at this, but I just wanted to go ahead and be there. It's just something for later. Alright, now let's go ahead and shoot in our water. Oh, I forgot the color. I'm going to mix Bomer. Hey bud. Good to have you. Welcome. I'm going to get a little bit of chromium oxide green. For that good old muddy Atlantic water. I'm going to mix that.
Robin says, I can't hear that good right now. I'm full on butterballs from American Pie.
You go, girl. She ate so good it made her deaf. All right, just grabbed some of the green oxide and I'm mixing it with umber brown. Just to make that good old dirty Atlantic water. And y'all forgive me if I lean into the picture and get in the way a little bit. I'm trying to be conscious not to do that. Got a little white mixed in with it to gray it a little bit. That gray-green, beautiful Atlantic coast water that we all love so much. Not a lot of the water is showing in this picture. There is some shoreline here too, so we're not going to hog all of what's left of our space. We might bring the horizon up just a little bit. There we go. Let it be a nice lost horizon. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Alright, now let's put in our foreground, those good old sea oats, and I'm going to mix purple right out of the tube and brown. It makes a wonderful dark color. We're just going to kind of block it in first with a little bit of a hill that comes down toward where the moon is. Get a little more here. And if you guys have any questions or you want to make a comment, please do so. I'd love to hear from you guys while I'm working.
Give me something to do.
And give Tacy something to do, that's right. Oh, American pie sounds good. I don't know what I'm having for dinner, but by golly, it's going to be good. All right, I'm going to go to my plain old busted up chip brush here. My dollar store or my dollar hardware store brush. Where did my rag go? What did y'all do with it? There it is. All right. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to copy old JMW Turner. He treated light like it was a liquid, and we're just gonna go back and forth and bring this light right down to the horizon.
Robin says she loves this painting.
Oh, thank you. We're just going to play with the light as if it is a liquid dripping down onto the water. And where it touches the water, we're going to intensify it a little bit. There we go. And then let's just put in some little clouds. Now, remember, because the moon is here, the light's shining up and hitting the bottom of these clouds, not the tops like we would normally see. So we'll let these get darker as they go up. Maybe it's touching another little cloudy protuberance. It's just hanging out there, and maybe there's one here. We want that sense of just a beautiful spring full moon just hanging there and some lazy old clouds. Sorry about the tapping. It doesn't normally do that. This last batch of canvases I bought from one of the big box stores, I'm not going to name it, all of them have had some defect. This one is not square. One of the other ones I just used was not square. All of them have had dimples in them that I've had to mist the canvas. Alright, let's get a little more white happening here. Just kind of one of those wispy clouds. Just hanging out up in the sky. Just don't forget over here, I'm just using a little touch and swoop motion to make the edge of these clouds. Making this one a little bit brighter because it's closer.
Robin shared it.
Thanks, Robin. And we'll just let that one kind of fade on out, but let's don't make it too uniform. Let's break up that edge a little bit. There we go. Maybe there's one right here. We'll intensify that one a little bit. There we go. Let's put some more up here. Now we don't have to be too careful in this area, guys, because we're going to bring a big old tree and some Spanish moss up over the top of it. But this is just a loose, impressionist, have fun with it painting that anybody can do. You can paint along with me, or you can download this and watch it later and paint along, or you can pause at your convenience. Anybody can paint. Anybody. It's just paint. It's not rocket science. There we go. And I'm going to bring some down here, closer to the horizon. Just an old, heavy, lazy hand cloud. He's got nowhere to be. And some over here. Just indications. Very light, soft touch. Maybe one or two more over here. Because this side of the painting wants to participate too. We don't want to exclude him. Yes, you can play. Come on. There you go. Now what we're going to do, I'm not going to use this brush to do it because it feathers a little too much. I'm going to put in some of the dark clouds going in front of the moon. We don't need our fan brush that just took a dive on me. I'm going to use a small filbert. This is number 8, natural bristle filbert. I'm going to pick up some of my sky color, that blue and brown. And we're just going to kind of wisp in a little bit of cloud, darker. It's coming to hang out in our painting. Contrast is everything in painting. It's more important than color because you can establish contrast without color. You don't even need it. Maybe a little break right there. Just a little broken. I'll drag some of them over here. Now tell the truth, how many of you have seen a beautiful beach island night like this? I have, and I miss it. Never had to reload the brush, just let it empty itself. Oh, beautiful, 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 beautiful. All right, moving right along. Going to go back to our cheapy brush, my chip cheapy. I'm going to mix that same purple and brown to do our sea oats. We've got the background laid on there. It's down here. And what I'm going to do now is just touch and pull, and I'm going to let it splay. And it's going to make the sea oats for me. I don't have to do the work. The brush is doing the work. Look at there. The only thing you have to do is make sure that you don't stay even, because there's no lawnmower running through here cutting these things. They will decrease in size as they move toward the little path that's going to go here. And they will rapidly increase again over here. Look at there. Alright. And then we just put in more. It's going to be a little bit hard to see on your screen. This is really a texture more than anything. But when I put some highlights in down here, you'll be able to see this a little better. So right now, just creating a texture that we can play with. Alright, and that's enough of that. Beautimus. Actually, I want a little bit of a... These are rebellious sea oats. They ain't even playing. So we're going to have some taller ones sticking out over here. Maybe some over here too. Yeah, man. I'm digging that. Alright. Let's put in our big old tree that's living kind of off the page, and one of his big old limbs is just coming in. I'm going to my large filbert, or larger. This is a number... I can't even see it anymore, y'all. Look at my poor brush. That's an experienced, happy brush. Same color, brown and purple. Just making a very darkety dark. That is a technical word. And I'm going to bring a limb in. It's just kind of big old honky thing there. He's got a friend that lives right there. Bob Ross used to say, maybe he's got a friend. There's a happy little friend living there. And we'll bring this on down into the area. We're done with that brush. I'm going to switch back to a smaller filbert. Not that one. I'm going to use a round for this. Doesn't really matter. And we're going to kind of suggest where the lens is really living. And of course he has an annoying little brother that lives up here. Another one. Thicken that part just a little bit so it doesn't look like a toothpick is holding this up. I want to have some substance. Can you guys hear me okay? I just realized I was probably mumbling. I mumble when I talk to myself, and I talk to myself when I'm painting. Alright, I'm going to get my rigger brush. I'm going to load up some more of that same color. And you're going to mix a little bit of water with it. You want this to be about the consistency of ink, not paint. And we're going to just kind of let it bring these limbs on out. Very thin solution. Old gnarly tree hanging there. Alright, maybe there's one back here. Next step, go back to your little chip brush. We're going to load that same color. We're just going to kind of block in some areas where I didn't get near enough paint on my brush. Let me reload that. I'm going to block in some areas where the foliage is in the trees. Be sure to let some of your background show through. And that is actually enough right there, because now we're going to do our Spanish moss, which is exactly the same thing, except it's touch and pull. So we're going to touch and pull straight down and just make some Spanish moss. Look at that. Look at that, y'all. I ain't even playing. Beautiful. A little bit.
See lots of hearts.
Thank you, guys. Just a little wispy bit out here on the little wispy limb. There's some hanging here. We don't want to block our moon, but by doing this, we're framing that moon in there. Everybody at some point has seen Spanish moss. I have seen it on the bayous in Louisiana. I have seen it, of course, in the South Carolina low country, which is, you know, where God wanted me to live, but I rebelled. I have seen it, of course, in Savannah and St. Augustine, Florida. What about you guys? Where have you seen it? What's your favorite spot? Just a little bit over here. We have a little hanging down here, just because we can. Big old shaggy piece. I'm going to break that up a little bit right there. Break that up a little bit.
Robin's is gorgeous.
Thank you, Robin. Now, let's put in, I'm not even going to clean my brush, I'm just going to wipe it. because I'm going to go light, lighter, 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 lighter until I get it where I want it. Got a warm gray here, and I'm just going to come up here, going back and forth, little hills and divots, and we're putting in our path that walks down to the water. Simple, easy. Let it get a little wider as it comes toward us. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. It does not bother me a bit. Alright, I'm going to call that part good, and without cleaning my brush with what's left on here, we're going to make the tops of the sea oats that are catching the moonlight. Just a little bit. Make them random. I want it to look like a cultivated garden. And then again over here, just spacing it out. There we go. A little bit over here. Just showing something's going on down here at the ground level. Break that up a little bit. The sand is peeking through the grass. That a good old low country stinky mud. Or they called it in Louisiana the boo-boo day. I had a Cajun friend that taught me that word, and he could have been yanking my leg, so if I'm saying something terrible, y'all let me know. But I said, what is boo-boo day? He said, rotten, rotten mud. So it's not just rotten, it's rotten, rotten. Alright guys, that's about it for this one. It's quick and it's easy. Now I am going to show you a little something you can do. I didn't do it on the big one. I'm going to load up some of that same warm gray. And I might just touch the side of the tree closest to the moon with little touches of paint to show the light hitting it. It's not really necessary because it's understood the tree is in silhouette. But we'll put it on there just because we can. And then if you let a little hint of it show through, it lets you know your limb goes on up. Just a little touch. Again, not necessary. It's up to you, whatever your personal taste is. There we go. Just touches of it. Alright guys, with that, we're going to call this one done. If you are interested in owning this painting, I am giving this one away. Free. So all you got to do is write "I want it" in the chat. And I will draw a winner later, and I will notify you privately that you have won. Buford T. Ogletree. Hey, Fred. Good to see you. Hey, Buford. Joseph Michael Merritt. Simplified Devil Dog. Yeah, if you're interested in having this painting absolutely free of charge, I'll even pay for the shipping or delivery or whatever. Just say "I want it," and we'll draw your name later and have a winner. So that's going to do it for this evening. Sorry you guys that just tuned in. It was great having you here in the studio. We'll be back next Saturday. Did I say back? We'll be back next Saturday with another wonderful live stream. A good way just to blow off some steam, sit back and relax, enjoy watching what I hope is a good painting. I'm going to zoom this in a little bit so you guys can see it better. This requires a little jostling of the camera, so forgive. There we go. Of course my studio lights are, but you can get a little better idea of what the grass looks like. That melting moonlight. Just a fun, happy little painting. Anybody can do it. If you want to do it at home, it is an original of mine, so you have my permission to copy it if you so desire. Uh-oh. I hit my power button with the clamp. All right, guys, with that, we're going to let you go. God bless you all. Have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you next Saturday. Be sure to tune in. Mwah!
Bye.
Bye.